Hi, it's Thursday, February 27th, and we're tracking Cyclone Garance. As the system now turns south towards Mauritius and La Réunion, the system has unfortunately been undergoing rapid intensification overnight, and it is still intensifying. You can see on infrared imagery, the eye is becoming much more clear in the center of all these colors here on this satellite imagery, but also you can see surrounding that immediately, we have whites and pinks rotating violently in a clockwise fashion around that eye, and that's showing you that rapid intensification still occurring in this system, and this is likely to continue throughout the day today. Shear is going to likely remain light enough for this to continue through this evening, and the system will likely reach a very strong peak intensity before tracking south and making its final approach to La Réunion. Now you can see the progress the system has made over the past day. If we look at microwave imagery that we got a few hours ago, yesterday we had a curved band structure where we didn't really have the eye and eye wall structure built within our cyclone, but now today we have the completed structure. This is a very nice, very strong eye wall that the system has built, and this has been allowing it to intensify for the past several hours. Now, something to watch for over the next day is if we do get any of these outer bands that you can see wrapping in to fully surround this inner core, that can initiate what's called an eye wall replacement cycle. And in that cycle, that's where a strong band of thunderstorms will surround the system completely, or the inner eye at least completely. And through that process, this inner core will die out, and this outer ring will become more dominant, and that will eventually become the new eye. And through this process, you usually see winds come down a little bit in the cyclone, but that can be a little misleading because the trade-off of that is that the system gets larger in size. So you have more expansive winds, more expansive rain, and you can have higher storm surge along the coast as the system comes in. So replacement cycles are not something to wish for here. Unfortunately, it looks like replacement cycle or not, though, we are going to be dealing with a significant hit here for La Réunion. So today is really it to prepare. This is the radar imagery out of La Réunion. You can see the outer bands getting closer and closer to the island. And the recommendation here for La Réunion today is finalize your preparations, do whatever you've been told to by local emergency management, and make sure you're prepared to hunker down because the system is going to come in tonight and likely make landfall sometime tomorrow morning. Now you can see how this may look if we look at radar imagery from the HASS model. This is the simulated radar imagery from the model. You can see that as we go throughout the day today, spiral banding increases for both islands, Mauritius and La Réunion, and these could have tornadoes in them, and they'll also have heavy rainfall and tropical storm force winds. But by this evening into tonight, the conditions really deteriorate across La Réunion as we have the core of the storm get much closer, and you can see the wind field as the system gets closer. Now, it is a compact storm, and for Mauritius interest, this is good news for you all because this is going to likely keep the strongest winds away from you all. However, for La Réunion, this is unfortunately coming directly for you, so we're likely to get within this very tight and compact core, and you can see we may have not too much of a difference between not really much wind at all and extreme winds. These lighter pinks here are showing you winds of intense tropical cyclone force, and if this does indeed take a track like the HAFS model shows, that would put these strongest winds right into La Réunion sometime late overnight or early tomorrow morning. And this will have, of course, damaging impacts that normally come with these types of winds, but also along wherever just east of where the center makes landfall, that will lead to a lot of storm surge above normally dry ground, and we could see a very significant surge along the northern and eastern part of the island as the system passes through. Now, the good news is here the system is going to be moving at a fairly brisk pace. This is by Friday morning, and the system's already passing through the island, and by Friday afternoon and Friday evening, the system is fully clearing out of the region. So conditions will dramatically improve from Friday morning to Friday night, but it's going to be a nasty morning on Friday morning. So make sure you're prepared and ready to hunker down as this system does come into the island in the next day. This is the current forecast from Mateo, France. You can see clear out those wind fields, the expectation of becoming an intense tropical cyclone later today and holding that intensity or something near it as it comes into landfall into the island. And unfortunately, here, even if we just barely pass to the west, the eastern side will likely have most of the strongest winds. So even if we don't get a landfall, we'll still likely have very strong winds come into the island. And to make sure you're staying safe as the system does come in, there's that wind field on that forecast so you can get some perspective of how large the system may be and how expansive it will be across the island. For Mauritius interests, the main thing you will be dealing with is outer bands from the system. You can see those may persist throughout the day today into the morning hours on Friday. These will likely have the threat of heavy rainfall and tropical storm force winds. They all may also contain some tornadoes. And importantly, if we do get one of these bands like this that trails over the island over an extended period of time, that could lead to some significant flooding issues. Those are very difficult to predict, but they can easily happen in storms like this. That will be worth monitoring if you are in Mauritius, and I'll leave a link to the Mauritius Weather Service alongside Meteo France in La Réunion so you can get the latest information as the storm passes through these two islands over the next day. That's all that I've got for Cyclone Garance. Stay safe again in Mauritius and La Réunion. I'll have another video out tomorrow as the system begins to pass through the island of La Réunion. But we're not done, as we do still have tropical cyclone Honde in the Mozambique Channel. You can see the broad circulation now pushing towards southern Madagascar, and the system is dealing with a little bit of wind shear. It's better seen if we look at water river imagery. We have some upper level cirrus clouds being limited in their westward extent, and they're also, looks like towards the end here, being pushed more into the center of the storm. So this is helping to keep the system more weak, not seeing much intensification from the system. It may still become a cyclone, but unfortunately the main impact from the storm was never going to be wind. It's likely going to be rainfall, as the system is forecast to stall as it comes into southern Madagascar. This is the upper level wind plot on the HASS model, a cyclone specialized model, showing you the upper level wind profile. You can see this very healthy upper level high pressure system draped over the system. Now, what we have as well is we have a high pressure system over Africa. So what we're going to have is if the high pressure system here is centered just east of our storm, this high is trying to pull it to the southeast alongside a little bit of a trough that we have just south of the storm. But this ridge as well, which is more of a deep layer ridge, it's extending pretty far east and is trying to pull the system off to the north. So you have these two competing forces trying to pull the system in two completely different directions. The net effect of this is not too much flow at all, as much of these forces cancel each other out. And the net effect is that the system begins to stall out. And you can see this happen on the model as it approaches the coast. It really just sits here. This is throughout the day Friday, and it really has not moved much since it got here Friday morning on this forecast, and it's getting into Saturday. And so the concern here is that the system will be able to dump a ton of heavy rainfall across the southern part of the island. And this is just a picture of what it could look like on rainfall accumulation maps after the storm is done. This is the HASS model accumulated rainfall, and you can see a wide region of 400 to 500 millimeters of rainfall in these yellow colorings here. And this could be a very significant flooding event or Madagascar. And I also should mention that because this system is so broad, we also may have some flooding issues further north. You can see we do have these streaks of heavier rainfall here in more south central Madagascar, butting up against these mountains, and that could lead to as well mudslides and flooding issues further north. So this is likely to be a significant flooding event as the system stalls out here. And you can see even on this forecast, this is by Tuesday, this system is still stalling out here south of Madagascar. Now, it will lose some steam here because the waters here are not overly warm, and it will likely upwell cooler water very fast, but regardless, we could still have some rainfall into early next week if the system does stay here for as long as this model does project. So a lot of heavy rainfall here expected in southern Madagascar. You can see the forecast from Meteo France showing basically what the HASS model was just showing you, a quick approach and then just stalling here off the coast and maybe drifting south over the next several days, but tons of heavy rainfall coming through here, and also tropical storm force winds. You can see just the expanse of this. This is a larger system, so tropical storm force winds will likely extend pretty far inland in southern Madagascar, and that can lead to some damage, including power outages across the southern half of the island. So stay safe as Honde comes in. I'll have another video tomorrow as the system continues to approach the island. Again, stay safe in Mauritius and La Reunion as our system approaches you all. I'll have, like I said, another update tomorrow morning as the system approaches La Reunion, and I'll leave links to weather offices for Mauritius, La Reunion, and Madagascar at the top of the description so you can get the latest information on all these storms as they progress. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.